Hello everyone and welcome to another presentation where we will discuss about class. Now a class is a very fundamental and essential feature in Java programming language, and every program that you will write in Java will have to have a class. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what a class is. So, as we had seen earlier, you and I are examples of objects, and our specific identities are our names. So, you and I, as objects, belong to this class, which is humans, and humans belong to another superior class or ultimate class, which is living beings. And so do dogs, and I am not really sure how dogs specific identities are. I guess it's their smell. They identify each other with their unique smell, and they belong, each and every dog belongs to this class, dogs, and this class is a subclass or belongs to this class, which is living beings. And so do all the other classes, from elephants to giraffes to zebras and so on, even plants and every living being. So this is the hierarchy diagram for how classes and objects are related to each other. So in let's take an example of a mobile phone, for like an iPhone 11 or iPhone 6, it doesn't matter. And that phone, that iPhone 6 or 11, will belong to this class, mobile phone. And that object, iPhone 6, let's take iPhone 6, will have these features or attributes, as we say in programming languages. Its features or attributes will be battery, color, length, width, and buttons. And these attributes will be very common in all similar objects which are part of this class, mobile phone. And that phone, iPhone 6, will have these methods or behavior. So its behaviors will be clicking pictures, switching on and off, battery saver mode, and even airplane mode, and many other behaviors which it can run on. And behavior in an object is nothing but its methods, and behavior is called methods in programming language. So let's take a situation where you are writing a program for a calculator, and that calculator will have these methods or these behaviors. It can carry out these functions. So it can carry out, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and it can even solve quadratic equations, and which is pretty cool. So all of these methods belong to this class, calculator. And you cannot have another method, let's say translation, where you can input a sentence in English and it will return you its translation in French. You cannot do that. It will be weird and odd to have that method in calculator. So this class, calculator, has a specific blueprint or guidelines, which, limitations for the kind of objects or methods which it can have. It cannot have a translating method in it. It can only have these basic mathematical methods in it. So let's take a look at the definition of a class. A class is a blueprint that represents a set of objects that share common characteristics and behavior. So a pretty simple definition right there, and it can also be asked in exams. So this is the definition. And let's take a look at the hierarchy diagram again. So at the bottom we have these objects which belong to a subclass, which is a class in itself, and this subclass belongs to this ultimate superior class. So another example for this diagram will be a case where we take a superior class as electronic devices, and its subclasses can be from mobile phones to laptops to even washing machines and air conditioners. And the objects, the mobile phones, which is a class, it can have objects, maybe a Google phone, an Apple phone, or even a Motorola phone, or a laptop by Google, or an Apple laptop. So this is an example for how a class and objects are related. So we have a couple of statements which we will discuss, and the first one of them being a class is a named software representation for an abstraction. And these statements can come in exam for you to justify them, and you can even write them in your own words once you are comfortable and confident and have completely understood this topic. So let's take a class named mobile phones, and let's say we want to create a subclass of mobile phones named iOS, and we can set the blueprints of our subclass iOS in such a way that it will have only those phones which run on iOS. So once that class is created, the iOS class will have only those phones which run on iOS. And if you see, abstraction happened in this process. We didn't have to see all the other phones which run on Android or which run on Windows. We just got our final result, which is our class iOS, consisting of all the mobile phones running on iOS. And similarly, we can do that for Android phones or Windows phones, or any other phones which you want. And in a similar way, we can even do this for camera quality. Let's say we want to create a subclass of mobile phones, and we want all the phones having a camera quality of 12 megapixels in that class. So once that class is created, all the phones having 12 megapixels of camera quality will be in that class. And as you can see, abstraction again occurred in this process because we just got our final result. We didn't have to go through the background process. We didn't have to interfere with the background details. Nothing, just the final result. So those were the examples for this statement. A class is a named software representation for an abstraction. So let's take a look at another such statement, class as an object factory. So you and I as humans, as objects, are examples of the class humans. And so are dogs, and so is every other living being an example of their own classes. And that's because we follow the blueprints or the guidelines which are required for us to be an object of our classes. So for example, you and I have 46 chromosomes, 4 limbs, 2 eyes, and so forth. So we follow these requirements, and therefore we are instances or examples of the class humans. So that was an example of this statement, objects as instances of a class. So let's take a look at the definition which we saw earlier. A class is a blueprint that represents a set of objects that share common characteristics and behavior. So that was pretty much it for this presentation, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and stay awesome.